Hey, what's going on, champs? I'm Aaron Deliosa. Welcome to an Immigrants Life podcast, my podcast about immigrants, immigration, and everything in between. We are back again, another week, another opportunity to share an amazing story from another amazing immigrant. First thing first, I want to thank you for your continued support. If you're new here, welcome. I'm very pleased that you are here. And if I could ask you a favor, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. It would really mean a lot to me, and you will be helping the podcast a bunch. Also, if you want to know more about the podcast, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at An Immigrant's Life. You can listen to the podcast on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Now, let's talk about the episode. This week's guest is one fiery individual, and it's for a really good reason and a really good cause. You're gonna find out her life is such a struggle because of government stupidity, to be honest. So, also on this episode, some sad, angry tears were shed, but there were plenty of laughs too. I promise you'd really like this episode. So, without further ado, let's get into the show. Isa, dalawa, tatlo. Our guest today is an immigrant rights activist, a community organizer, a saint, and a mother of 3 beautiful children. Everyone, please welcome Eva Santos Veloz.
Thank you so much. My name is Eva Santos, she, her, ella, from the Dominican Republic, a DACA recipient, and I've been residing in the Bronx, New York for the last 15 years. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And I just was going to say, thank you for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you. I feel always really grateful to be able to share my story and just voice out like my demands and, many other people out there. I feel like it's very important.
Mm. Yeah, when I saw your account, I'm like, yo, she got to come on, man.
Thank you so much. I mean, I am very new to this activism work. I always wanted to do it for the longest time, but it's unfortunate that like my community, we lack a lot of resources, and we don't get together as Central Americans get together as we should. So I was out there trying to look for a person to go rally with and go speak up and go stand on the stairs and march. And I just couldn't find that person. I'm from the Dominican Republic, and it's unfortunate. Like when I first applied, I had to apply in let's say in an African American organization, because my country doesn't offer the resources for us. To this day, DACA has 9 years, and they don't even know what the program is to better explain to you the lack of resources. So when that happened, I was like, first of all, I have to let my country know we are here. Like Dominican DACA recipients are here, and we need help. We need resources. And in order for me to do that, I have to go out there and speak up. So I couldn't find that person to help me. And I was like, let me be that person. Let me be that person that's in the stairs, that's Dominican, that is not the usual. And let's speak up and let me go scream and let me go voice out my demands. And that's what I'm trying to do now. And I feel so happy and grateful that for all the support that I've been getting in such a little bit of time for this movement and these actions. And I'll forever be grateful for it.
That's amazing. Yeah, you're an inspiration. Like just when the amount of work you have to do to, invite people and come and do the poster and all the stuff, it's a lot of work. And like I said, you're a saint.
I thank you so much for that. I started doing this with the Undeniable Squad from United We Dream Action, and I hosted this. This is my second rally that I did. I did the first one July 6th in front of Chuck Schumer's office. It was very small. It was my first rally. I honestly didn't know the logistics that go behind a rally, for you to voice your demands and to be able to get the attention that is required. Let's say the last rally in Foley Square that we had media and so many organizations supporting photographers. It takes a lot of work. And And I am so happy that I've been able to learn and I've been able to have the guidance from like United We Dream Action and also the team that I've had to be able to like make this action happen. I wouldn't have been able to like be able to do this without like their guidance.
Yeah, I love that you say like I didn't know anything. It's like guerrilla, you know?
Yeah, I didn't know nothing. Like I honestly thought, even though there is people out there that will just go and rally without permissions and permits and all of that, but there are also other things that go behind, like rallying. And I honestly thought that it was just like getting up and let's go rally in front of USCIS office. Let's go, let's go. And it's not like that at all. You need a lot of things. Also, just to make sure like our community always feels safe is very extremely important. Like we don't just want to rally and let people only see us. Again, our community is there sharing their stories, trying to feel comfortable and safe to demand their rights. So for me, as an undocumented immigrant myself, I always fear a lot going to these rallies because I thought I was probably going to get in trouble. There's a lot of bad narrative like, oh, if you go rally, you might get arrested. Mostly when you're undocumented, you fear a lot for that. So, I also want to change that for people to like feel like, our rallies are like welcoming. We try to keep everybody safe and feel comfortable to share their stories regardless of what it is always.
Of course. I'd like to talk more about your activism, but for now, let's focus about Eva. So what's Eva's background? As you say, you're Dominican. Where she was born? Tell us.
Okay, so I'm Dominican. I came here when I was 9 years old. I came with my mom and my siblings. My sister, she's a U.S. citizen because she's younger than me, but because my mom came here when we were 3 with a tourist visa from the Dominican Republic, and she had her she had her here during that time. We came and we struggle a lot as like being undocumented, like through shelters and a lot of like, I think it's just like what undocumented people go through, like in a city like New York that is so expensive. Like my mom being undocumented herself. I always was a little girl, very cheerful and out there, and very, very smart in school. But when it came to the time that I needed to apply for like college, I didn't have anything. And I was like, oh, so how I'm going to support my mom? My mom is undocumented. We're all undocumented. The only undocumented is my sister. So I dropped out of school.
Okay.
I dropped out of school. And I started working when I was 13 years old to be able to like, help my mom and help her provide for us. My mom was a single mom. So in the process that I was working, I was also a very young mom. I was a mom when I was 18. So I had to grow at a very young age and also being undocumented. I had a petition from my dad that because of the lack of resources, again, from my country and from like the community that I am, after waiting 10 years for that petition, it went to like, I lost that. But thankfully, DACA came and that changed my life. I started working in banking, which was like my dream job since way before I was able to like legally work. I did so many jobs prior to that. I did money transfer. I worked in a bodega. I worked in a supermarket. I worked in a driving school. I mean, I did everything and anything. I always say that my college has been like the streets, like learning out there. And I feel like I hold proud to that. For a very long time, I felt scared to share my story because I felt like me not having a degree to stand with that. Like, there's so many dreamers out there that I feel so proud. And, I admire them so much because of the hard work that they have put in being undocumented and being a dreamer, and they have the degree. So I felt for so many years, like my story didn't hold power because I didn't have that degree, but, as soon as I got my permit, I started working in banking, which was the career that I always loved. Thinking that I love numbers, trying to work and survive while also being a mom of 3 kids. And I started to know that banking and numbers was not my thing. It was just people. Like working with people and servicing people. I realized that was my passion. I started working for a nonprofit organization for kids from the border. And there was when I first had my interaction with immigration for the first time, because then again, being Dominican, we don't have you don't hear a lot of fearing ICE. That's when I realized wow, I am really undocumented, when I saw ICE in front of me and I was really scared.
Yeah. So wait, sorry for cutting you off. When did you find out that you're undocumented and how?
No, I found out when I was going to college. When I was trying to apply for school, that I went to my mom being a little girl, oh, my friends are applying. I took the SAT and I got this amount of scores. So now what? We can afford it, first of all, because, I am so happy for the people that have been able to afford to be able to go to school, have the resources to apply for a scholarship. My mom didn't have that then, the resources to probably go and apply for a scholarship for me to go to school, or the money. So, and that's when it hit me. That's when I knew I'm I'm really undocumented. I can't go to school like my friends. I can go to college like my friends. And, everything changed then. I feel like everybody has experienced the same thing, mostly undocumented youth that came in at a very young age. It was mostly when they were at school that reality hit them. Now, do I feel that going to school would have changed my life? Of course. I feel like I would have many more opportunities now that I have my work permit, because I was not able to go to school. It's unfortunate that as much as I know and I'm knowledgeable of so many things, at the end of the day, this companies, they want a degree as much as But right now, I am currently working in my activism work. I actually lost my job because of the pandemic back last year, because my renewal didn't come on time for DACA, and I'm still unemployed to this day. Always trying to work, helping people around me. I gratefully last week did feed the homies here in the city, which is feeding. I call them homies because I don't like calling them homeless. It's just a way for me to have respect over them. And I just feel like I've developed in this pandemic, my true passion, and it's just the work that I'm doing now. Not fully just for the immigrant advocacy, just for advocating for so many other causes that are important out there, that I feel that I haven't voiced out myself, and it should start from me. I was very, even with my friends for so many time, I was like, why are they not supporting immigrants? Why are they not supporting the undocumented community? What's going on? But then I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, what am I showing them as an undocumented myself to support me, And it's just so many people should see that, because I've seen a lot of people that I know get upset about this, having lack of support. But how are you voicing out the support? And I feel like that is extremely important. And, I'm doing this for the future of my kids. They are the reason why I'm doing this. Is my future is theirs. At the end of the day, protections that that I have and many other millions of immigrants is not enough. And my kids and so many other kids that are going to be the future for this country shouldn't have to be living in fear for this every single day.
Of course. So your kids, are they documented?
Yes, they all three were born here. They're all U.S. citizens.
Oh, thankfully.
Yes.
So we're talking about undocumented and DACA and all this stuff. And I have listeners that doesn't know anything about DACA or undocumented. Can you educate us quickly about these two topics?
Sure. So DACA is more stand for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. These are kids that came before they were 16 to the U.S. and they have resided here for a certain period of time. Right now, this gives you a temporary protection, which gives you a regular work permit, a license. the regular things that anyone can do, but it's just temporary. You don't have a lot of resources as many other people, and you have to renew this every year and 8 months. Let's also remember that DACA was just temporarily half blocked, meaning there's no new applications. This is why we call this is temporary. One, because we have to renew it every 2 years and they could just take it away from us at any time. Just like Judge Hannon did a few weeks ago with the new applications. I know so many people that their life was going to change because of this new applications with DACA, and they just stopped it. This is why we're continuing to fight. And with the undocumented other portion of the community is those that are not dreamers, those that are not in this mass that are currently covered by deferred action, that don't have anything at the moment. And those are essential workers. Those are those drivers that are delivering your food to your doors. Those farm workers that are picking your food for you to be able to eat. And just your parents, my parents, every single dreamer's parents that I just spoke about that came before us and brought us here. They are deserving of this citizenship for all. And this who they are. They came here to this country trying to look for a better life for themselves and for their kids. And unfortunately, they have been here for many, many, many years. And we are demanding this pathway to citizenship for many of us.
If there's a DACA for children, is there a program for adults?
There's also TPS, which is covered, is in the budget reconciliation. But not every country that's based on countries. Not every country is included there. So there is no program like for adults at the moment. There was going to be a program a few years back called DAPA, if I'm not wrong. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but that didn't pass. So this is why it's extremely important for this pathway to citizenship to pass. Mostly for, like I said, I even said it in my rally. I honestly don't want anything if we're not all included. And I am a DACA recipient because I firmly believe that my mom is documented now, but like those parents that came, that brought their children deserve that peace of mind before I do.
For sure. So you mentioned your mom's documented now. How did she get from undocumented to documented?
She had to wait for my sister, which she was born here back in 1994, to turn 21 to be able to petition for her.
Oh yeah. How about, can she petition you?
No, because she's my sister. She can petition for me, but I will have to wait the period of 10 years. And I will have to leave the country because of the type of petition that it is. Like I said, I have a petition. I actually have an approved I-130 for my dad. Like my dad is a U.S. citizen. Like, hello, my dad is a U.S. citizen. This is what people need to understand, how fucked up this system is. My dad is a U.S. citizen and I am undocumented. Like, my mom is a resident. How my sister is a citizen. My kids are a citizen. My brother is a resident. I am the only undocumented person here in my family. And this is me having a petition and following the rules like with my dad. And after we went through all of that, the National Visa Center, and I waited 8.5 years for them to send me one letter. They said, oh yeah, we got an approval, but you gotta go get it to the Dominican Republic. What?
A place that you don't even know anything about.
So they send me a paper like, oh yeah, you've been approved. You could go undergo the procedure. After waiting 8.5 years for an approval and submitting proof of parents, like they a DNA test. I had to provide them DNA test. My dad went from being a resident to a citizen, so I had to change all of that with them. They just decided 9 years later, like, oh yeah, we got you, but you got to leave the country first.
That's so crazy.
After I've been here for 22 years, and I feel like that's something. So many people ask me the same question: how is that your parents are citizens and you're undocumented? I was like, well, because the system is just that messed up.
Yeah, it is. So before DACA, was there a program to protect undocumented people?
No, before that, there was no program to protect. Like that's why when Obama created this program, it changed the life of thousands of youth, of my life, millions of kids' life out there, because it has changed throughout the program. I know of people that have come in and out of the youth, then because either they have filed for a certain other petition. People life changed. We didn't have anything prior to this. Prior to this, I was working up the books for years, in anything or everything I could have find, to be able to provide for myself. First, to be able, as a kid, to be able to provide to my mom. I had to be an adult at a very young age because we were undocumented. And then being a young mom, I had to then provide to my kids. And it was just like chaotic. You know, DACA did change my life, and it did change so many other youth life. And now that Judge hadn't stopped the new application 3 weeks ago, it hurt me so much because I know personally how my life changed when that work permit came in my mail, you know? And I know people that their fingerprints were the next day when that ruling happened. So how unfair was that, you know? It's just like, yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry that you have to go through that. Why do you think most Americans are anti-immigration?
It's just like, you know, it's unfortunate, like racism runs this country. And it's mostly, I feel like the Trump era affected us very much, like so bad. Yeah. Even though that this has existed for so many years, I feel like his attacks and just like the perspective that he put in the media to the American and his supporters has affected the undocumented people big time. Yeah. Because you know, he put out there, you know, immigrants are criminals, immigrants are this, immigrants are that, DACA recipients are lazy. But like the bad narrative, like, no, like, you know how hard each single one of us, DACA recipients, TPS workers, essential workers, those farm workers that don't have anything, that are out there every single day in the sun for us to feed ourselves. How like these Americans are feeding themselves based on our work, you know, and through even throughout this pandemic, like you guys order very much through those apps to eat, to feed yourselves. It's like it was the undocumented immigrants out there doing their jobs that you don't want to do. So that's why, like, you know, it's upsetting. I understand, but it's unfortunate that we want to do the work, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy. I like that you mentioned about the farmers, because in Canada, we have those too. The farmers hire people from, you know, Central America or Southern America. So when the pandemic happened, they cannot come. No one's doing the dirty jobs, quote unquote.
Correct. It's just like people think that, and I fear a lot about this, like budget reconciliation in that sense, because, you know, there's a lot of rumors that, you know, that there is something that is going to pass, but it's not going to include everybody. Because, you know, there's always going to be a lot of guidelines, taxes, employment records, criminal records, how much you have worked for the country, if you're able to provide and prove this and that. And I feel like farm workers have nothing to prove to you other than they've been out there trying to feed you. Like, I mean, you know, and I fear a lot for them because these farm workers, they don't have a lot of like resources, you know, and help to like paper trail of what they have done in this country, you know? And I fear a lot when this budget reconciliation does pass, because I'm super hopeful it does, that they're going to try to backstab us, many of us, in a way, in that sense, like, you know, trying to keep these guidelines and requirements, which is understandable, but I know they're gonna overdo it.
For sure. So what's this budget reconciliation that you're talking about? Can you tell us more about it?
Okay, so the budget reconciliation is like a 3.5 billion budget that Biden came up with, a bill. So not to make it super long, we are included there. DACA recipients, TPS workers, essential workers, farm workers. Right now, the House Senate passed that bill and woohoo, we are in there, which it was why we were like demanding and fighting for. In this bill, this will give us a pathway to citizenship for all.
Oh, sweet.
This bill is being revised now. We don't really know like what is going to include, who's going to include. What we are fighting for is for 11 million of us to be included there. Right now, we have the Democrats on our side, meaning that we don't need the Republicans' votes in order for this to pass. We do have the parliamentarian who makes her advice, but then again, they don't need her to be able to support us. And that's extremely important for people to know that. The Democrats, like the parliamentarian, can give her advice whether or not she feels like we can be included in this pathway to citizenship for all. But we need to remember that Democrats have the power, regardless, to give us this year. They don't need the parliamentarians and they don't need the Republicans to give us this peace of mind. And this is what they promised us. And this is just what they should give us, period. Like they have the power, the control of the House and the Senate. Like there's no excuse at all.
Yeah, I hope it happens. You think because of the Republicans most of them are anti-immigration, that stops them from passing the bill?
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, of course, we are very aware. Like the Republicans don't want. They are putting all the excuses. They feel like this is not the legal way. They feel like we should probably struggle more in order to be able to be deserving of this. But like I said, we don't need them this time around. Democrats have the full power and have the full control of the House and the Senate. And they are able to give us this without the Republicans. So therefore, we got this. This is our year because they promised us this. There's no excuse if or buts, regardless if the parliamentarian feels like this is not the year for us or we should wait. They have the power to undergo and go her through her head and no. This is not happening. They got this.
That's amazing. So change is a very slow and grueling process. Having said that, what motivates you to keep going?
What motivates me to keep going? I've gotten that question many times. I feel like not giving up. Like, I feel like giving up for what your rights are will be the worst idea ever. All we have is fight. Like, what else can we do than voicing out? And mostly this year, because we have this power in the House and the Senate, I feel so hopeful. Like, we haven't had this in a very long time. And I feel that should give a lot of people hope. Like, at the end of the day, we haven't gotten this far in this long. So we shouldn't lose hope. Now, I had a call earlier and I said, should we sit down and feel like we did it now? This is when we need to fight. Now is the time that we need to actually show them you included us in that pathway in that budget reconciliation because we were out there voicing out our demands. Give it to us now. So I should say this now, and I'll stick to it until like this passes at the end of September. Continue to voice out the demands. Don't feel now because they're revising the bill and they're just probably thinking about it. Okay, let's see and sit down and see what happens. No, continue to share, continue to tell your friends, continue to go out there, take actions. There's a bunch of ways if you're home, texting campaigns, phone bankings, rallies, march. It's extremely important not to feel comfortable at this moment that we almost got this.
For sure. Let's go back to your personal side a little bit more. So growing up, you didn't know you're undocumented, but your mom knows. Was she extra conservative and extra worried about you? Hey, Eva, don't do nothing stupid. Don't get picked up by the police.
Yes, all the time. My mom was very fearful of being in a large crowd. fearful of going to the airport to pick up family. What can I explain to you? We had my kid's dad. He underwent immigration procedures, and we didn't go to the USCIS office because we were really scared. We it's just like throughout like our childhood, she will keep us. You cannot be going outside with your friends to like regular things that like a regular kid will do, like go to a party. How about you get stopped by the cops? And no, come home. You need to come home. She always feared that because she thought that, they could have just stopped us in the streets and take us to like, and deport us. To this day, my mom, like, even though like my mom just became a resident 3 years ago because my sister just turned 21. To this day, my mom still is, as a resident, still you can still see the trauma.
Mm-hmm.
She's so fearful of so many things. Like she's still undocumented. Even for me, like me being a DACA recipient, she still fears for me. When now that I drive, she's like, oh my God, you need to be careful. Somebody who like I'm in New York City. So many crazy people. You get arrested because somebody goes in front of your car. You get deported. I'm like, mommy, that doesn't work like that. I'm not just gonna get deported. And when she sees something in the news about DACA, and even my kids themselves, like they're like, mommy, you're gonna go to paper prison. That's how they call immigration jail. You're gonna go to paper prison.
Paper prison.
Like, because when their dad was in jail, for me, in order for me to, they were so little for me to be able to explain to them like why he was in jail. I was like, okay, you see this paper and this paper, U.S. citizens have this paper. Daddy doesn't have this paper. So that's why he's in that jail. Oh, so that's paper prison. That's how they understood it in that moment. So now when they're rallying with me, they're like, mommy, we're rallying so you don't have to go to that paper prison.
That's so cute. Paper prison.
Yeah. So, it's so sad that any kid out there have to be fearful or asking their parents this type of things, like my kids, like they asked me in my last rally, they're like, so what happens if you don't get it again? Do we all have to leave the country or do we stay here? So it's just like, they feel like I'm just going to be taken away from them. Like,
yeah,
no kid. And I fear that when I was a little girl a lot, because I saw like my mom being undocumented. I thought my mom was like, she used to clean offices and stuff like that. I used to fear like me fearing that ICE was just going to walk in and take her. And that's what they fear. And I feel like that shouldn't continue for them and many other kids out there. They should be studying and playing and worrying about so many other things. They are our future. Mm-hmm. They have to like mental health and trauma is real. Mm-hmm. And this is affecting these kids right now, like that are experiencing this. And these kids that are like seeing their parents go, like say, to really go to immigration jail or really go through procedures. Like I worked in the nonprofit organization with kids from the border, and these kids have to represent themselves in court. Like they have to sit there with, and it's super sad to see that, how and are we thinking, how is that affecting them, their childhood in the future? Not at no point are these Americans thinking that these kids are not choosing to come here. I didn't, like, my mom came here with me trying to like get a better life. I didn't decide to come here. And then my kids didn't decide for my mom to try to come here to give me a better life. You see the connection? So it's just like, this needs to change for the future of
course, definitely. When your mom came to the States as a tourist, did she plan of staying?
No. My mom, we have been traveling because we, like in the Dominican Republic, we were not a family of like, we lacked resources or any of that. Like, we were fine there.
You guys were rich?
I would not say that we were rich, but we were fine. Like we were in what you will say in my country, what we were okay. Like as a kid, I was like, what do you can't? What do you rather see? Like, I understand, like as a parent, like the English, the opportunities that is here is much bigger and better. But we have been traveling here. She first has been traveling here since the 80s as a tourist. She was pregnant with me here in the US when she was 7.
You could have delivered me that day, man.
Listen, she, and she feels very bad about that too. Because she was 8 months pregnant with me and she was here and she left. Because she feared, it was the 80s. Back then, it was so much different. So she feared in that moment, I cannot have a Dominican kid in USA. Hell no, I'm leaving. No, I'm leaving, So she left. Then we came back as a tourist. And then again, we were coming back and forth until 1999 that she left us in Dominican Republic and came to work. That's when things changed. In that period of time, she started like things changed in the Dominican Republic, their like presidency. So like the economy changed. So she came here to work and left us with our grandma. 4 months later, she was like, you're gonna come here. It was 1999 and I've been here ever since. She made the decision up on herself to stay. We had a tourist visa that expired in 2003. And we couldn't go back after that. We couldn't go.
Since you're a DACA recipient now, can you travel internationally?
No, we cannot travel internationally only if we apply for advanced parole. Advanced parole is like a type of form that you submit with immigration, basically telling them that they only let you travel for humanitarian purposes and for educational purposes. Meaning if you have like an immediate family member that requires health, they unfortunately pass away and you need to attend their funeral arrangements, which I feel like is so unfair to me that I shouldn't have to go see my family when they died. You shouldn't allow me to see my family when they die only. Like, why? Like, I actually opened up my rally like that. My grandma was here. She's 92 years old and she's my life. I love her with dear life. And she has to travel here because I'm unable to go to the Dominican Republic. And this was actually the last year that she told me, like, this is the last year I'm able to do it. I even want to cry because it hurts me. Because she cannot no longer come and I can no longer go. And it's just like, people need to see like how bad this is. Like, this is a jail for many of us. We cannot decide up on ourselves only in an application, let them know, oh, my grandma passed away. Can I go see her now? It's unfortunate. And, or maybe because of educational purposes. Why is my country gonna want me to go to study to the Dominican Republic? Like, it just makes no sense. Like, so it's just like, that's what advanced parole is. That's like what we go through in a day to day. Like, that affects me so much. I think that's one of the biggest things because for me, it's so important to be able to like be with her. Like, I wish I couldn't have her here. I can. She's undocumented herself. She only has a visa. She can stay. So for me to keep her here, there's a lot, like she won't have like health resources. She's 92. So, that's the things people need to see, that there's so much more than working and having a license. And it's just being free and being able to do simple things like that than seeing my grandma.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really sorry to hear that.
Yeah. No, it's a very sad topic because everybody goes through that. I've known so many people that have 25 years, they don't go to their countries. And like this year, if they decide that they don't give us a pathway to citizenship, I won't see my grandma until, let's say, unfortunately, she passes away and USCIS gives me an advanced parole. Not fair. So this is why we are fighting, and people need to understand why we're voicing these things out and the importance of this changing for many of us.
Yeah, I'm sure. I hope it passes. And I'm not gonna lie, when I started the podcast, I didn't know anything. I've heard of Dreamers, I've heard of DACA. I didn't know anything about it. Till I had a guest that he came on. He told me like, this is how it works. This is stupid. This is crazy.
Yeah. And let's not forget, for you to apply for DACA, it's a lot of guidelines. For you to apply for DACA, you need to prove to them that you've been residing in this country for 12 years, meaning you have to provide them for proof of any type of paperwork proving that you was here for 12 years. So if you don't have
documented, it's almost impossible to do.
So what we go through to apply is a lot. People feel like DACA is just an application that you fill out. Oh, name, address, and phone number. No, it's not just name, address, and phone number. We have to go through a lot to apply. And same thing to renew. Every time we renew, we have to, every time we renew, we have to submit the same forms. We have to pay $500 again. Because for new applications and for renewals, it's $500. So every year and 8 months, you have to pay them $500. Let's not count like when you have to go to the bio appointments, the pictures. You have to take pictures and bios every 2 years. You have to, for you to apply, you have to prove to them so many things in order for you to get approved. And people need to understand that DACA is a big procedure. It's not an easy thing. I always say that. Like people think it's it's not just a license application. It's way more than that. It's big. It's a lot of guidelines and requirements in order to be a DACA recipient. You have to have a clean background. Trump said that many things. No, because they're criminals. No, we're not. In order for you to get an approval of DACA, let me inform people out there, you must have a clean background. They check every inch of your hair before you get approved. So every single DACA recipient that you see out there, they undergo a background procedure, and they are deserving of this. We deserve this, and people should know that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're humans, you know? But I'm pretty sure you're more, yes, you are close to your Dominican roots, but I'm pretty sure you identify yourself as an American.
For sure. I mean, I came here, my mom brought us here when I was 3 years old. I did kindergarten, first grade, and second grade here. You know, we permanently stood here in 1999, but I only was in my country for 4 years of my life. So this is my country. This is where my kids were born. This is where I learned to work. This is where I learned to drive. This is where I went to school. This is where I met my friends. This is where I know my childhood friends, my childhood teachers. This is my home, you know, this is our home. And so many other people will relate to what I say. We don't know nowhere else than this. Like if you take me and you drop me in Dominican Republic, I will not know what to do or where to go.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I was watching a Vice documentary about felons that are Tongans that was born in the States, and they were being shipped back to Tonga. They don't know nobody, like literally no one.
Yeah, it's a really sad thing. I think I did read an article about that, and just like so many other countries out there that, let's say, will go to jail for any very minor criminal act, and they will get deported after being here for years. There's actually, I don't remember his name. There was a dreamer a few years back here that cops stopped him in the streets, and he was gonna get deported. He went to jail. He was undergoing procedures, and he was about to get deported because I think it was a stop and freeze back then here in the city, and that was not even allowed. He had nothing on him. He was just walking in the streets, but he was just undocumented. And it's just like, wow, you know, being taken from the only country you know, and just like, how bad crazy is that?
It's crazy. I know, like when it came to my life, I'm like, that's cruel. That doesn't even make sense.
Not at all. Not at all. Many of those people, their families are here. Even they have built here, like their kids are here, their wife, their moms, everyone, like they have nothing in out there in their country. And it's sad to say, but they came here like I did when I was young. So This is their home.
Yeah. Do you know anyone personally that have been deported?
I know many, yeah. Personally, from the Dominican Republic, I've known several people that have been deported to my country after being here since they were really young, and they have tried to come back in illegally as well.
Mhm.
It's unfortunate, and it's because they don't know. They don't know.
Yeah.
Like Dominican Republic, even Mexico. I have a Mexican friend that was deported to Mexico, and it's just like he tried to come back in and just like, I don't know my country. I was here. I came when I was a kid. Like I feel misplaced. This is not where I belong. Like even the language. It's
Yeah.
just a barrier because this is our home.
Yeah. Ethnically, they are Mexican or Dominican, but they're Americans.
For sure.
Do you know the process? Like once you get deported, let's say like the day off, they get deported. They send you on the plane. Do they just leave you at the airport?
That depends. The depends on the type of reason why you're getting deported. Sometimes they do, like, once you get deported, like just let you go from there, like after you undergo like the regular procedures there. But sometimes you have to like go to jail, like
Mhm.
there as well. If you do have like a criminal background that they believe you need to pay for now in your own country, I guess that's what you do that there, and then you are let go. So it's a lot. It's a
That's
lot.
crazy, and it's not like American jail. This is
It's the
Dominican
worst.
jail. You know,
Yeah, from another country that you don't even know. Yeah.
That's nuts, man. It blows my mind. And thank you for educating me and educating the listeners because I don't know anything about DACA before.
I'm so glad that I'm able to like educate you and your listeners. For me, it's extremely important because, like I said, coming from the community that I come from, being Dominican, like my consulate, when I applied for the DACA application, it was an African American organization that helped me. For me to renew, it was the Mexican consulate that helped me. And right now, I'm actually fighting to advocate this with my country because right now it's 1,300 DACA recipients from the Dominican Republic, right? And there's 3,000 that can benefit from the program. Right. Okay. Yeah. Right now, new applications are put on hold, but that was just recent. There's 3,000 of us that could benefit from the program, but they don't know because our country don't offer us the resources and the help.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to reach out to them and my consulate, and one of the responses I gotten was, the program is too new for me to help you with resources. And the program has 9 years, guys, 9 years. The program is not new. So it's unfortunate. And I don't really care to voice it out. My country, if they don't see a benefit, and I will say, I feel it will be all the countries in general. But when it comes to like helping and giving resources and guidance to people, if they don't see no economy beneficial, they won't help you. So when I went, they asked me, I was like, hey, I'm here to ask for DACA resources and help. And they were like, I don't know what you're talking about, but we can give you a passport. We could give you a Dominican passport. We could give you a Dominican consulate card. I was like, can I explain to you that being a DACA recipient, I don't need a Dominican passport because I don't need to travel. And being a Dominican and being here for 20 years, I don't need a consulate card because I don't need to vote for anybody in my country. But now, when I come here and I ask for help for DACA, you guide me and you teach me what having a passport for my country is and what having a consulate card. While you help me, maybe I will have that, But you guys want to offer the Dominican youth and undocumented people a passport and a consulate card, but you're not offering the guidance and resources for this 3,000 immigrants that are out here to benefit from the DACA program because they don't know. But yeah, they have your passport. How sad is that? So I'm currently fighting for that, and I feel like I need to like speak about that more because Dominicans need to speak up for themselves. I feel like and not Dominicans, so many other communities. I met my first DACA brother, he's Albanian. And I was surprised as well. I was like, oh my God, you're Albanian? Oh, wow. I'm so used to listening to hearing that they're Mexicans, Salvadorians, Guatemaltecos, like that. And so happy to see other communities voicing out, because if we will be voicing out our demand, more people will listen to us. That's so important. It's not about that we need to be out there. No, it's just like the more that we are, the bigger the voice it is for them to hear us, you know?
The voice is louder. And
louder,
I always,
louder, yes.
and I always tell people, like, oh, you know, the people that doesn't want to vote. And like, if you don't vote, you cannot complain.
Exactly. There's no change that you're gonna make.
Yeah. Voting is the only time that they actually listen, because they have no choice.
They have no choice.
Yeah, exactly. So when this bill passed, well, actually it will pass, and then you become documented. What's the next goal for you?
My next goal for me is having peace of mind. Not having that anxiety of having to renew every 2 years, being a DACA recipient, being able to know that I'm gonna apply for that job and be able to build there and not be scared if in a year and a half they're gonna prevent me to continue to build. That's gonna be the first thing, like, you know, like the peace of mind. And then going to school. For me, I have this, I don't know, how would you say, like when you have this hunger to be successful, to be able to provide and show my kids what I've always wanted to, if I was given the resources that I needed. And that's gonna be the time when I show like myself first, because I feel like you need to show yourself before anybody what you are capable of. And my kids, that this is what I was needing. I was screaming for, because that's what I needed to be better, you know, to have that peace of mind and be able to just provide them a better future.
Yeah, you'll have that. How about the passport to visit Abuela?
You know, that's I think mentioning that, of course, like, you know, it's just like, I've said that so many times. I was gonna mention that, but it's just like, I'm gonna run to her. Like, that's just like so obvious. Like, that's besides my goals and my like resolution for my kids as a persona. I'm gonna run to my grandma. I don't want to wait. I fear so much to having to apply for advanced parole because she passes. I don't want to. I've said it, and I'm gonna put it in this podcast so I could stay here. I always said, if the moment comes that, like, let's say, unfortunately, my grandma passes away, and I'm not able to travel. I don't want to go to my country. I don't have nothing to do there. That's the only reason why I want to go. So if I get this pathway to citizenship and it comes late, let's say, unfortunately, and my grandma is not there anymore, I don't want to go to the Dominican Republic. I'm gonna have my pathway to citizenship to show my kids other countries and other places and be able to study, which is like what I crave for, and it's my passion to like be able to be somebody successful. And yeah.
That's amazing. That's awesome. I wish that to you, and I'm sure it's gonna happen. And we're getting there, but I have a few more questions if you don't mind. So for people that wants to do what you're doing, to be an activist, or, you know, to voice out their opinion, what advice would you give them?
Well, one thing is, like, United We Dream Action has the Undeniable Squad, which is a volunteering program, which is so amazing. They have trainings, they have guidance. You could give as much time as you want. It's not anything that you have to, like, I understand people work. I understand people have other things. This is the way to do it. The way I started activism work, looked into like Instagram pages that are in your area. that are usually voicing out your rights. If you feel like maybe the undeniable squad is not something that you want to do because, you don't want to be involved so much in like a program, follow pages that are of importance, share those posts. I said it in my rally, we underestimate, unfortunately, we live in a social media era. I wish we didn't, but we do. It's very important for us to keep on sharing those things, to be involved. If you feel like you cannot volunteer your time, of 10 memes, of 10 quotes that you share, they share that important post. Share that demand for your friends, for your families, for anyone out there. Immigrants, Afghans that are going through this, Haitians that are going through so many things, Asians that were going through so many things on a few weeks prior, whether anything that you see out there that is of importance, voice it out. Share those posts. I get really upset when I feel like I see so many memes on my friends sharing so many memes and sharing so many quotes. Why are you not sharing my stuff? Why are you not sharing my rallies? You might feel sometimes like, oh, that is in New York City. I'm not around, but you don't know who you have that sees that they have that's from New York that wants to share it. And that's how things escalate. Join us. There's Action United We Dream and Instagram pages that gives you a lot of resources and information and how to take future actions in texting campaigns, phone bankings. There are many ways virtually that you could take demands out there. Look for it. There's many pages that are doing this now in the next few weeks to demand actions, not just United We Dream Actions, many others. But I am right now part of United We Dream Actions. So I welcome everyone to join us. You can always text pathway to 877-877 or squad to 877-877 to get more information on how to join us and how to make more demands.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Man, I feel like I'm ready to go, man. I'm going to go through the wall, man. So,
yes.
Before we close out, do you have any last remark or anything to add?
Yes, my last remark, I would say just like I said a few minutes earlier, my community, my immigrants, undocumented community, and those that are just learning about what this is, please spread out the voice, continue to take action out there. Don't feel comfortable because the House passed the budget reconciliation. We're close, but we're not there yet. It is extremely important for the support and the actions to continue to happen. Please share our posts. Please voice out. If you can volunteer some way, some shape or form, please do it. It is extremely important for my life and many other people's life out there to change.
Wise word from a wise woman. Again, Eva, thank you for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Aaron. I am super grateful for you having me here today. I actually follow your page because Jay Maya, you actually did a podcast on him recently, and I saw it. I actually follow him, and that's when I followed you, and I started like seeing what you do, and I'm super fan now of your work.
Thank you.
Love what you do. And that you're voicing now and helping us voice out this our demands. I am super grateful, and I feel like there should be more people like you out there helping us out to like spread our voice. Is extremely helpful. These platforms that you are providing for us. Thank you so much for having me here today. Say my story.
You're welcome, and thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Again, Eva, thank you for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, listeners, for listening. This is Aaron Del Yosa for An Immigrant's Life. I'll see you guys later.